Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Cassidy Car Cave. So today we're going to start with the repairs on the S600, the 03 W220 12-cylinder twin turbo sedan that we just added. And as I pointed out in the last video, the problem I hope with this car is this voltage transformer here on the top of the engine. This basically takes 12 volts and makes it into 120 volts for various uses inside the engine. And today we're going to get the new voltage transformer put on there. I have to say, Mercedes-Benz of Nashville is fantastic. They get stuff just really fast. I ordered this yesterday. It came in this morning, went out, picked it up, and I've done it many times. So they're wonderful. You know, the parts are expensive, but some things you have to get from them. Particularly this item, because Mercedes said, "Oh, we screwed up on these," and they did a kind of a refit or a remanufactured, redesign kind of thing. And so they actually want this one back. There's going to be a core charge, or there is a core charge on this one, but it's a redesign. So, you know, this is not something you want to buy used or somewhere else, because the new design is much better, much more durable. These are kind of a known failure on these. Probably so much of a known failure, they should have been a recall, but, you know, we're not doing that. Anyways, we got the new one. That's the old one. Let me show you what it's doing before we get rolling. First of all, the car's in limp mode. It will not run well. It will move around the shop here, but it won't do anything significant. It won't rev, I think, over 2,000. So it's really, you know, extremely limited. And the reason for that is half of the cylinders, if you look at Star Diagnostics here, misfire, misfire, misfire. So we got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all misfiring, and ECI ignition system mains unit, I'm hoping is this thing, is throwing a code as well. So, you know, all of that is putting the car in limp mode and making it so it won't run. Now, I've had cars before, the 03 CL600 I had was this same engine, and it had the other issue that these engines always have. It had the coil packs go bad. Now then it was throwing like, you know, misfire 8, 9, and 1 or something like that. And so the internet says that if it's throwing all one bank, it tends to be this voltage transformer. So we're going to replace it, clear the codes, start it up, and see how we do. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear the codes. That way I'll pull the negative terminal on the battery, we'll replace that unit, and we'll see if this helps. If it doesn't, I'm not brokenhearted, because I know that these go bad anyways. It's going to need to be replaced. So, you know, I'll know that it's the new one. And at least that's not going to be an issue. So I really hope this is it, though, because this voltage transformer is 4 volts in a connector, as opposed to the coil packs on these, which are a nightmare. So anyways, let's clear these codes. F9. Yes. Switch off ignition. Switch on ignition. Okay, let's just run these code checks again, and let's see if there's anything in there. All right, so no fault codes present. We want that before we put in the new voltage module, voltage transformer. That way it's clean when it starts, and hopefully it won't throw codes and we'll get it out of limp mode. So let's disconnect the negative on the battery. I have a charger hooked up to it, just so whenever I'm got it kind of on but not running, I always give it a little bit of a source of power, because the batteries die really fast, and these Mercedes are so persnickety with voltage and freaking out when the battery's not right. So we'll turn all this off and disconnect the negative, and I'll see you up front to take out that voltage transformer. Okay, so negative battery terminal is disconnected. The car's had a few minutes to kind of die off. And we're going to pull out this module, transformer. So, gotta be really careful with these things to not break this 17-year-old plastic on these connectors. I've sprayed a little bit of silicone on it to try to make it slide easier. I'm going to pull this module out from the mount first, and then we'll try to get the plastic connector off without breaking it. So here we go. Just 4 Torx 30 T30 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a ground wire right here. Make sure you don't forget that when you put it back in. This is actually the ground for most of the ignition system. So you can't just like hook it up and see if it works. You have to actually mount it. Bracket. Oh, there's a hose that's not connected that probably should be. Something's broke. Okay, so that's the module. Now we just have to get it disconnected without breaking it. Okay, we got the old one out. I have put a little bit of silicone in here just to try to get this to slide in a little easier. Also try to clean a little bit of the grit and grime out of it, but man, these plastic pieces are just delicate. So put the new one on. Okay, and just snap that back in and it clicks in tight. Get our ground wire. This line is supposed to go into this on the bottom. Some kind of vacuum line. So we'll order one of these. Don't know what that does. All right, just a little stubby ratchet. These don't need a lot of torque. I don't want to break anything. Okay, I had promised I have not tried this yet. You're going to see what happens with me. Hooked up the negative lead, we got power again. Let's fire this bad boy up. Wait a second for the check engine light to go out when we start, I hope. We'll test. I guess it all stays on. Okay, that's good. No check engine light. It's definitely revving more than it did. Now these cars limit the revs anyways. You can't like around the red line. But it sounds very smooth and no check engine light. Let's go for a little ride. Okay, so I drove it out of the warehouse. Everything seemed fine. The heater turned on. I'm not sure the automatic fan is working, but the car itself didn't fall apart. So let's go for a little ride down the road. We'll see how it does. Let you point out this way. A little more interesting than just watching me. It feels very smooth, super quiet. I don't hear any big time clunks in the suspension. So far it feels pretty darn good. We definitely fixed the misfire limp mode because it will go now. It wouldn't accelerate at all before. And it's got massive amounts of power. These 12 cylinders are just amazing, the amount of torque they provide. I can't really imagine putting much more power in a non-electric car than this. I just don't know how you'd ever keep the tires from spinning. It's just, there's a limit to how much power you can transfer through a transmission and a differential. I did that goofy video with the little brother of this car, the CL600 and the Tesla. It's just, there's a limit to how much power you can give an internal combustion engine to still keep it on the road. But this is about it. This is amazing. It's super smooth. So we will go back to the warehouse. I'll run codes on it, see what's going on. We'll definitely order that part. I'll tell you what that is, and we'll wrap this up. See you in a bit. Well, hello. We are back at the warehouse, but it took about a week since the last time I was in the car. We had a big snowstorm in Nashville. Actually, we had two. First one came through and gave us about 3 or 4, 3 inches of sleet. I don't know why we got sleet instead of snow, but we did. And then about a day and a half later, we actually got some snow. And then so maybe 2 or 3 inches of snow came through. And for Nashville, that will shut us down, which it absolutely did. Really nothing is open yet still, but it's Friday, it's 50, it's about 30 degrees out. The roads are clear, so it's passable. And I'm finally back over at the warehouse. So, where we left off with the Mercedes is it was running, driving the S600, but it needs to have this little part replaced, which I've picked up from Mercedes. And I should have remembered this. This is a MAP sensor, they call it. It's a manifold pressure sensor. And this basically tells the turbos whether or not they're doing their turbo thing, whether it's getting boost. And I've replaced these before. The CL600 I had this same issue. And so I should have rang a bell when I saw it broken on there. That's the same exact thing that happened to the CL600. And it's also why this car is not quite getting all the boost it should right now. So let's put this on, and then we'll talk some more about the car and what's next for it. Okay, you love stuff like this because it's a dream repair on these cars. Basically 2 bolts hold this on. They are these reverse Torx. This is a E8. And so there's 2 that hold it on, a clip that plugs in. We should have this good to go. If only every little thing that could be wrong on a Mercedes was this simple. All right, let's see what this baby will do. Ridiculous. I got it stuck in 4 inches of fresh snow. But, you know, they're low profile tires. Maybe they're not the best. But anyways, it really did snow in Nashville. No one's been in the warehouse, so the parking lot has not been touched. It's going to warm up. I'm just going to leave it there this weekend. I'll come get it Saturday or Sunday whenever the weather clears up enough here in Nashville to all this will melt and it'll be gone in a couple days. So that's it for the car then for now. Definitely the voltage regulator was the problem on the engine and the check engine lights and the misfire. That is cured. I'm waiting for the OBD2 cycle to reset so I can take it to emissions and get it through there and get a plate on it. And then we'll do a road test and kind of a review, and I'll drive it around some and see what we think. Assuming I get it out of the snow. Anyways, thanks for watching.